Hey everyone, welcome to Financial Revelations. I am David Szafranski, your host, and I got to tell you, somebody last week said, "Hey, we love your podcast, but you get a little boring after a while." And it's a friend of mine, and he said it would be good if you answered questions from people that they sent in. So I'm going to do a little bit of that today, but I am going to talk a little bit too. So there. Of course, I wrote a book. It's called The Sin of Retirement. You can go to the Sin of Retirement or Sin of Retirement. It'll take you to the same place. And you can buy the book. We have it on Audible. We have it on Amazon. You can buy the book everywhere. And I think you'll like the book. There's another book coming out. I don't know when it's going to come out. It's not going to be like next week, so don't be looking for it. But sinofretirement.com, thesinofretirement.com. There's merchandise there. Like I know this person, family member, who thinks communism and socialism has never been tried right. So I have a shirt on there on the website that says communism sucks. I wear that in front of them. And why do I wear it? Because communism sucks. And it sucks so bad, we need to put it on billboards and T-shirts and hats. You can get a hat that says, I suck at investing. You can get other things there too. Gulf of America shirt. We love America here. Eagles, and I'm not kidding, bald eagles land on my beach and eat breakfast. I'll put up a picture of a bald eagle sitting on my pier that I just took recently. Kory, just remind me to send that to you. So anyway, sinofretirement.com, thesinofretirement.com will get you to the same place. If you want me to speak at your church, men's group, or anything like that, we're available for doing that too. Talk about retirement and planning and leadership. Really, that's the main thing. Leadership is what I like to talk about, and how to lead in your community, how to be a person who makes a difference. We spend the vast majority of our life doing really two things: working and sleeping. When you think about that, and I've never wanted to just kind of sail off into the sunset. It's not my personality. I don't want you to do that. I want you to live a life of purpose. That's one of the things that the book is about. It's about being more than just this existence that we have. I love my office. If you could come here and look around, you'd probably love it too. It's really nice, but it's not all that I am. There's so much more that I want to do and achieve and be part of. I want to live a life that makes a difference. I want to serve our fellow people. And that's what we do. And speaking of that, we have a trip going to the Amazon to drill a water well on April 2nd of next year. Probably can't get on that trip, but if you wanted to do a trip, we want to schedule a second one to do the same thing, to go back to the jungle, to drill a well. Your church could be part of it. The best kind of trip is when we take somewhere between 10 and 20 people with us. So you say, well, we're going to the jungle. Do we got to sleep on the jungle? No, we sleep on a boat. We live on the boat. We eat on the boat. We have flush toilets on the boat. We have showers on the boat. We have internet on the boat. You're in contact. If you need to work while you're there, you can bring your computer, and if that's possible for you to work remotely, you can do that. We're not going to, we don't want anybody to get so exhausted that they see, we want you to be able to come back refreshed. You're going to get to meet a village in the indigenous area of Brazil. And we have interpreters that go with us. So you're covered. It's not even an expensive trip. The trip itself isn't a fundraising arm of the mission. You can go to nativosusa.org and find out more about the mission. But the missions trip itself is not a fundraising opportunity for us. If you want to leave money there, leave money there. If you don't. I had a friend that went to Haiti, and it cost like $12,000 to go. And I'm like, well, there's no way a plane ticket costs that much. Well, that's their fundraiser. Well, we don't do that. We want to make the trip affordable so that people can go and serve. And the trip is 11 days start to finish. You'll love it. Flush toilets and showers. And the bugs aren't really bad, actually. Where we go on the river, it's a black river. It's an acidic river. It doesn't support mosquito life. You're going to be surprised at how little the bugs are. So anyway, Let's move on to finance. Hey, Iran is still active. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because I don't need to. Exactly what I thought would happen is happening, and that is we're bombing the living snot out of them. We're giving them the pointy end of the business end of a missile on a daily basis. We're taking out capacity. Can you ever get all of the capacity out? I don't think so. And all you got to do is look at Russia and Ukraine, where Russia is a far superior force to Ukraine. And yet Ukraine is sinking ships and they're being pesky and they're causing havoc for Russia. Well, Iran is going to have the capacity to do that. They can't sink our ships for some reason. They don't have that kind of drone technology yet. Hopefully they won't get it. And our ships are standing pretty far off. So that's the thing about a big ship. You don't need to get it really close to reach out and touch people because those cruise missiles go like 1,200 miles or more. And so you don't really need to get really close, and they've got ground radar where they can see what's coming at them on the ocean, and they can deal with it. So we have the most advanced military ever. All you got to do is look to Venezuela to know that that is true. We plucked Maduro out of Venezuela, never lost a soldier. It was in and out. It was like an hour, and we were in, and now we control the country. So what's happening in Iran is going to go on for a while. Oil's pretty well behaved. It's not super expensive. It's like $80 a barrel. The first time we went in there a couple months ago was 120. So markets are not reacting badly to it. We're really reacting to earnings. And that's what's in focus is earnings are in focus, and it's not Iran. And this has long been my theory about when things happen over there, wherever over there is, as long as it's not like France, Germany, or England, it's okay. The markets can deal with it. And that's what the markets have done. They've quantified what's going on there, and basically they've said Iran doesn't have a lot of capacity, otherwise they would have used it. If Iran had a nuke, they would have used it. If Iran could take out our aircraft carrier, they would have done it. That time is over. So it's going to move on. I also want to talk about SpaceX because I'm getting a lot of calls about SpaceX. They are below their IPO price of $135. That was the IPO price, but when it hit the public market, it was at like at $150. But the IPO price is important. I read a price target yesterday on them of $800. And they're at like 132 or some change right around there, somewhere right around there. So what do I think about SpaceX? I love this company. And I did buy it for a lot of our clients, and I continue to do. I bought some today. And I'll continue to do that because I'm not buying it for the value today. I say I don't care about the value today, but I don't care about the value today. I care about the value in 5 years. I was reading and listening to some commentary about the robotics arm of SpaceX, and it's big. You've seen these Boston Dynamics. They make these four-legged robots. They kind of look like an electronic dog. They freak people out. A lot of police departments use them, and what they do is they have these things walk into situations where you really don't want to put a first responder at risk. It could be a fiery building. It could be a dangerous situation where there's a hostage situation, something like that, and it's your eyes and ears inside. And the robotics company is going to be like that. When you think about our declining birth rate, for instance, even in America, we have a rapidly declining birth rate. Well, we need people to lift heavy boxes. That's going to be probably a robot, and that could be one of the solutions to our declining birth rate. It's not what the best solution to a declining birth rate is a movie and a bottle of wine with your spouse. That's, what, you grease the skids, go see a movie, go out to dinner, drink a couple of glasses of wine, bam, she's pregnant. That's the best solution. At least that's the solution that I would choose. But you choose what's right for you. A glass of wine or two, nice dinner, babysitter, maybe send the existing tax deductions to Grammys for the night. You're having another baby. I'm buying the stock for the long term. I care about what the price of SpaceX is going to be in 5 years. Is it going to be 800? I don't know. It could be. But I like it for growth-oriented investors. So if you came to me and said, David, I need a lot of income out of this portfolio, I'm not buying SpaceX for you. So before you go out and buy this stock, which I don't necessarily want you to do, think about your situation. Talk to somebody who can look at your overall situation and say, yeah, this could be, a 5% position for you in your portfolio. And remember, individual stocks, they're not like mutual funds. They're not like ETFs where you have broad-based exposure. When you buy a stock, you have exposure in a very narrow way to, it could be a big market, but it's still one company, and you have to be aware of that. There's more risk in an individual stocks. That's really the beauty of a mutual fund. You, from $1, you have exposure to potentially 100 or more companies in that mutual fund. So if SpaceX is part of it and it's going down like it is right now, you might not even notice. I have notes today, so that's why you hear the paper. And one last thing about current markets before I answer a question is that the chip stocks, the big chip makers, the memory guys, they're selling off right now. They're in a little bit of a retrenchment. It is not a rotation out of these companies. There is no rotation. And inevitably, I'm going to hear on my 85-inch TV behind me sometime this week about the rotation out of chip stocks. It's just they're taking a breather. Chip stocks are going nowhere. There's Micron, for instance, is building a plant, a new chip manufacturing plant in America. They're going to break ground soon. They're not going to produce a chip out of that plant for 6 years. Well, everything we do is going to take it. My coffee cup is going to have a chip in it pretty soon, so I can sync it with my Apple Watch, which I hardly ever wear. I don't really love my Apple Watch. I wear it in the Amazon because I don't want to take a really good watch with me. And I wear it when I work out so I could track calories and time and stuff like that, but that's about it. I wear it when I scuba dive. But my coffee cup is going to have a microchip in it. I'm going to sync it with my Apple Watch. It's going to tell me how the cup tilt, the amount of sips that I took. It's all this information that people need today. I just want to drink coffee, but I'm sure there'll be a microchip in it. So don't get freaked out if you're in microchips, memory chips, these big DRAM suppliers. They're not going anywhere. Everything we do takes a microchip, and that's only going to get worse, which is good for them. It's not really getting worse. It's just as we get teched up even more. I don't know what we don't have tech in that we're going to put tech in next. I'm constantly surprised. The Apple Watch has probably been there's two things that Apple has done that I think are just revolutionary. Aside from the iPhone, obviously, that was 2008, so that's been a long time. There's been a lot of evolutions in iPhone. One or two other revolutions in there, but mainly evolutions. But Apple earbuds, AirPods, they are the best Bluetooth device that you can get. There's been nothing ever like this. And I remember first time seeing the commercials where like somebody was doing a cartwheel with the AirPods in, and they stay in, and I thought, well, that's kind of gimmicky. They're the best. Nothing even compares. And secondly is the Apple Watch, because, and now remember, I don't really love it. I like a regular watch. That's just how I am. But I know a lot of people that love it, and Apple totally changed that entire product line. That for everybody had to compete with Apple after that. And I hope they keep doing that. They haven't done it in a while. It's time. So questions. So here are the questions that I've got. And by the way, if you have a question and you email it into Kory, we'll send you a piece of merch, okay? A book. You tell me what you want, a t-shirt, a hat, something like that. We'll send it out to you. So I had a question about leasing versus buying. Here's my simple rule of thumb. Smart people lease cars to dumb people. But there is a caveat in there. If you're a little old lady or you're a retired person and you're driving like 5, 6, 7,000 miles a year, I would lease a car. I would go out and, this assumes that you have a little money in the bank and things like that. But you can go out and you can get a nice car. It'll always be under warranty. You never have to worry about break. Well, I mean, cars do break down, but not often, especially new cars. I would just lease a car if I was that little old lady who, or you're an older couple that doesn't drive around the United States. I leased a car one time. It was the worst thing. I just wanted to try it. All I thought about was how much I was driving. And then when I was done, I gave them the car back and I had nothing left and they went out and sold it for a big profit. So I don't like leasing a car. I think most people shouldn't lease a car. I think most people should buy a car. And the best way to buy a car, quite honestly, is if you're going to buy a Kia, you talk to my friend Leo because he sells Kias and he's really good. And he'll get you a good deal. But buy a used car, 1 or 2 years old, that's coming off a lease that was well cared for and has low mileage. All the depreciation's gone, and you've got a car that's in good shape. That's the best way to buy a car. And then pay it off as fast as you can because car rates are pretty high. So pay it off as fast as you can. My next question, and I get this a ton of times, so I love answering this right now, is EV versus an internal combustion engine or an ICE. EV versus ICE. I just read in the Wall Street Journal yesterday or the day before that EV batteries are lasting way longer than what they had thought. So people are getting out of EVs 2 and 3 and 350,000 miles before the battery pack needs to be changed out. Well, that's really good. I mean, that's a good thing for EVs. And for a while, it was the race in EVs was to see how ugly you could make an EV, except for Tesla. Tesla made some pretty nice looking cars, except for the Cybertruck, which I don't think is really nice looking, but I know people love it. Everybody's got a style. It's not my style, but it could be yours. That's fine. I'm not judging. I happen to like internal combustion engines because I just took my Ford pickup over to Costco and filled it up with gas. I timed it. It was 6 minutes from start to finish, from the time I shut the truck off and got out to climbed in and reset all my data. 6 minutes. If I have to do that with an EV, it's gonna take me 4 hours. I don't have that kind of time. I drive a lot. I drive far. It's just not there yet. Now, when would I buy an EV? Okay, I would buy an EV if I was a relatively short commuter and I wasn't driving across the country or I had a second vehicle to do that with. To be honest, not a lot of people drive across the country. But I do drive to Cincinnati and Columbus, Pittsburgh, Michigan, places like that. And I don't want that trip to take 14 hours because I got to do a recharge. So I drive an ICE vehicle. If you're a local commuter, you could get a really good deal on a used Tesla Model 3 right now. You can get it for like $30. Do you know how many times you'd have to change the oil in a used Tesla for over 300,000 miles? 0. There's no oil in it. It's great. So those are the people that would buy an EV. When I would buy an EV would be if it got more than 500 miles on a charge and you could charge it under an hour. Half an hour would be really good because I figured, if I walk into a rest stop and look around, get a Snickers bar so I'm not hangry, use the restroom, whatever, my car's charged. Roth versus regular. Roth all the way, especially the younger you are. And if you're in a lower tax bracket, Roth makes even more sense because you don't get that big of a tax break to go into a regular. So Roth, the younger you are, even if you're maturing rapidly, a Roth could still be a good idea because you can pass it on. You can convert your old IRA to a Roth. Now, I'm also getting tons of questions about Trump accounts for kids. Yes, they are a good idea, especially if your kid was born after 2025 or later, because they get free money. So let's say you don't like Donald Trump, okay? And you're like, I'm not going to do a Trump account. You need to take some kind of pill or something to get over your TDS and get your head out of your fourth point of contact because this is actually a good thing for you. There's free money there. So stop being a moron and just sign up for the Trump account. Now, let's say your kid is 10 years old and they don't get the free money. Trump account's still a good idea, and this is why. So you cannot contribute to an IRA if you don't have earned income. So let's say you're 10 years old, you're probably not working, you don't have earned income, you can't contribute to an IRA. A Trump account, mom and dad can contribute to and then convert it to an IRA when the kid's 18. And then, because the kid has very little income or none, you convert it to a Roth. Pay the tax, boom, this kid's going to be a millionaire in 35-year dollars, okay? So this is a strategy. Now, some people are saying, well, what about a Trump account versus 529? That's a little bit different because the goals are different. And so if you're going to do a 529 for college, I like that. I love 529s for college, but it's not just for college. It's also for trade school and other things. If you want to get a CDL, you want to become a dental hygienist, you want to become whatever, a welder, okay, a plumber. Great jobs. Did you know that the Pentagon right now is trying to hire 200,000 electricians over the next 10 years? 200,000. Electricians make a lot of money. The plumber that did the house, I redid a house. When he told me what he billed out a year, I was shocked at how much business he was doing. And he said, you know, if I could find people, I could have 5 more trucks on the road and I could do probably 3 or 4 times what I'm doing right now. Those are great careers. College, in a lot of ways, is a scam today. If you don't know what you want to do, like if you truly don't, if your kid does not know what they want to be when they grow up, and this is not uncommon, I would take a gap year. I would figure out what you want to do. There are things, there's programs that you can enroll in to say, hey, let's find some things that I really like to do. I had a friend, he was a mentor of mine, a pastor, and I used to ask him, I was in this business, and I'd say, but how do I know what God really wants me to do? How do I know where he really wants me? And I thought his answer was really spot on. He said, you know, if you're doing something that you like, that you find value in and that you love and that you're good at and you excel at it, all things that I was doing at the time in this business, he said, you're probably pretty close. And so what I started doing is not only this job, but looking for other opportunities to serve. And that's predominantly where this Amazon mission came out of. I didn't really even want to go to the Amazon when I went, but God laid this on my heart. Like, this is one of the things that you're supposed to be doing. And I took that to heart. So listen, if you want somebody to review a portfolio or you want to come in and talk with us, you don't have to work with us. There's no pressure to sign paperwork when you come in here. We don't charge you a fee. If you said, well, I want to pay you something, I would have you donate to the mission. That's how strongly I believe in what we do here. And I am in the enviable position where I do not have to ring the register every time I meet with somebody. And I love that. It's really freeing to be able to do that for us because we want to help people. If we could help you manage your finances better, we could help you get to a point where you could go on mission trips and get your debt paid down, we would want to do those things. So take advantage if you want to. If you have a question, send it in. We'll send you a piece of merch. We love hearing from you guys. Kory at EPSF.com. Don't forget about nativosusa.org. I am David Szafranski, a real American, a true red-blooded patriot, and the voice you can trust.